Hello everyone and welcome to another stream from Beyond the Screen. We are here live tonight with a new Unearthed Arcana. We have three wonderful new subclasses for D&D 5e released yesterday. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to stream them yesterday, but I am able to do them now. Before we get started, I'll just explain what's going to happen for those of you who jumped in here for the first time. We are going to we're going to read over the Unearthed Arcana together. You can see it right there. Oh, yeah, getting used to stream. We're going over it and I'll give you my notes and reviews as we go on. We have three subclasses today. We have the Armorer for the Artificer, we have the Star Circle Druid, and we have the Ranger, who's a Fey Wanderer. We'll get to all of that, but before we do that, I've released the last Tools of the Trade video a little over a month ago, and since then began the finals period of this semester. I really want to make another video, but I've promised myself that I'll wait with that until my tests are over, and I can finally do another one of these. They're my favorite, and I want to, learn together with you as we go on this wonderful adventure. If you have any questions during the Unearthed Arcana or remarks or anything, throw them in the chat. It's right here. I see everything you write. And anything else? I have one last thing that I want to mention. Cobalt Press had a recent Kickstarter, which I think is over by now. It's the Tome of Beast 2. In the Discord channel, we sign up as a group. We have a few of these monsters we designed together under the same theme. We're going to make some clockwork monsters together, and we're gonna submit them. This is a fun experiment, and even if you didn't back the Kickstarter, you're more than welcome to join us and see how we design the monsters and throw in some ideas. Maybe some of your ideas will get into that final submission, who knows? And if you want to do that, I'll put a link with the channel's Discord right now. Here, I put it here on stream right now. It should appear on your screen. Beautiful. So, let's get started then. The first subclass we're going to review is the Armorer Artificer, which specializes as an armorer, modifies armor to function almost like a second skin. The armor is then enhanced to hone the Artificer's magic, unleash potent attacks, and generate a formidable defense. The Artificer bonds with the armor, becoming one with it, even as they experiment with it and refine its magical capabilities. So if you wanted to play Iron Man in fantasy, this is the subclass you choose for it. It's a fun one. So, of course, you get a proficiency with heavy armor, which is good for that one. It's a good choice. Smith tools proficiency, and if you have that proficiency already, you gain another proficiency of an artisan's tool of your choice. And armor spells, you always have certain spells prepared after you reach particular levels in this class, as shown in the Armorer spells table. These spells count as Artificer spells for you, but they don't count against the number of Artificer spells you prepare. So we have Magic Missile and Shield, which function pretty cool when you think about an armored, like an artifact armor shooting missiles and a shield that pops in front of it. Works well. Mirror Image and Shatter, Hypnotic Pattern, which is powerful spell. We have Lightning Bolt. Yep. Fire Shield. Works great. Greater invisibility. Pass Wall, which is funny because you create entrances where they shouldn't be. And Wall of Force. That's a wonderful spell. Though Artificers gain these spells pretty late in the game. Strong Q vibes. Q vibes are like what? Gold work armor. Yep. Power armor. Yep. James Bond. Oh, Q. Oh, I see, I see. Yep. That's right. That Q. Yep. So, on third level, you actually gain the power armor. Your metallurgical pursuits have led you to making armor a conduit for your artificer's magic. As an action, you can turn a suit of heavy armor you are wearing into power armor, provided you have smith's tools in hand. You gain the following benefits while wearing the power armor. If the armor normally has a strength requirement, the power armor lacks this requirement for you. You can use the power armor as a spellcasting focus for your artificer spells, and the power armor attaches to you and can't be removed against your will. It also expands to cover your entire body, and it replaces any missing limbs, functioning identically to a body part it is replacing. So, completely Iron Man vibes through and through. This is just wonderful. The armor continues to be power armor until you doff it, you don another suit of armor, or you die. That makes sense. Miss Mortrick. For which part? Oh, I see. Metallurgical. Yep. Mistborn is a wonderful series. If you haven't, just, go and read it because it's wonderful. Brandon Sanderson is a great author. Let's continue though. Armor model. You can customize your power armor. When you do so, choose one of the following armor models: Guardian or Infiltrator. The model you choose gives you special benefits while you wear it. Each model includes a special weapon, and when you attack with that weapon, you can use your intelligence modifier instead of strength or dexterity for the attack and damage rolls. So yeah, that's a good cover for, you don't have to take another stat. You can focus on intelligence and constitution and still hit pretty hard with that. You can change your power armor's model whenever you finish a short or long rest, provided you have smith's tools in hand. So the first one is the Guardian. You design your armor to be in the front line of conflict. It has the following features: Thunder Gauntlets. Your armored fist each count as a simple melee weapon, and each deals 1d8 thunder damage on hit. A creature hit by the gauntlet has a disadvantage on attack rolls against targets other than you until the start of your next turn, as the armor magically emits a distracting pulse when the creature attacks someone else. Interesting. So also, since both of your arms are considered melee weapons, you can theoretically attack twice, one with your attack and another with a bonus action, doing 1d8 thunder damage plus your intelligence modifier, which is decent amount of damage for third level. That's nice. And the other ability is kind of cool. It's hard for me to imagine exactly how it works. Release a distracting pulse when the creature attacks someone else. Interesting. Maybe something Mecha Ninja, Mecha Monk. Maybe something like what's that cantrip called? Why did you attack and you do thunder damage when they move? Can't recall that name, but there's definitely a cantrip that works that way. The second ability is the Defensive Field. You gain a bonus action that you can use on each of your turns to gain temporary hit points equal to your level in this class, replacing any temporary hit points you already have. You lose these temporary hit points if you doff the armor. So as a bonus action, you can keep revitalizing your defenses, which make up for the fact that you don't have such a big hit die. And yeah, that's it pretty much, because with heavy armor you'd have decent armor class. Defensive field means you will get a constant shield that keep coming back, which, you know, when you hit like 10th level, this is quite a lot. I mean, when you hit 10th level, things will usually do more than that, but still, you're pretty hard to hit, and it's something. Still costs your bonus action. Interesting nonetheless. The other version of the armor that you can customize is the Infiltrator. You customize your armor for subtle undertakings. It has the following features: a lightning launcher. A gem-like node appears on one of your armored fists or on the chest. It counts as a simple range weapon, with a normal range of 90 feet and long range of 300 feet, and deals 1d6 lightning damage on hit. Once on each of your turns, when you hit a creature with it, you can deal an extra 1d6 lightning damage to the target. That's cool. That's an interesting take on it. Booming Blade. Yes, that's the one I was looking for. Thank you, chat. So about that, 1d6 lightning damage, and once on each of your turns when you hit a creature with it, you can deal an extra. So on 3rd level, it's 2d6 lightning damage plus your intelligence modifier as your action on a range. It's pretty good. Later on, I believe you get another attack, which makes it kind of cool. Still, you get the extra 1d6 only once. Cool. That's decent. A decent amount of damage for a ranged attack. Pretty cool. Powered steps increases your walking speed by 5 feet, so that's definitely a mecha ninja. Second skin. The armor's weight is negligible, and it becomes form-fitting and wearable under clothing. If the armor normally imposes a disadvantage on dexterity, stealth checks, the power armor does not, which makes you a mecha ninja to a greater extent. On level 5, you get an extra attack, which works very well with the armor models you choose. Each of them plays a good part in it. I like it. And on level 9, you get armor modifications. You learn how to use your Artificer Infusions to specially modify the armor enhanced by your power armor feature. That armor now counts as separate items for the purpose of your infused items feature: armor, boots, bracers, and a weapon. Each of those items can bear one of your infusions. In addition, the maximum number of items you can infuse at once increases by 2. But those extra items must be part of your power armor. This is very cool because you can easily add +1 to your AC and +1 to your hit and damage, or anything else. You have a helmet, you have boots, you have pretty much, well, almost every thinkable item. Any item you can think about, you can infuse. 2 extra slots is always a lot, I believe. You start with 2 and it goes up to 6 maybe when you're in a very high level. Still, those extra 2 are very handy. And the last, is it the last? It is the last. Perfected Armor is the 15th level armor feature. Your power armor gains additional benefits based on its model, as shown below. The Guardian gains tinkering with your armor's energy system leads you to discover a powerful pulling force. When a creature you can see ends its turn within 30 feet of you, you can use your reaction to force the creature to succeed on a strength saving throw against your spell save DC, or be pulled up to 30 feet towards you to an unoccupied space. If you pull the target to a space within 5 feet of you, you can make a melee weapon attack against it as a part of this reaction. So you pull it and you boom punch it. Cool. This is really cool and works well. A reaction. It's such a strong reaction. Really. Yep, and they acknowledge it by limiting the number of times you use it to your intelligence modifier, which you only regain back when you finish a long rest. That makes sense because that would otherwise be a really powerful reaction with no limitations, but I like that limitation right here, and the fact that you can pull an enemy out of your ally's reach. Like someone is attacking one of the squishes in the back, just pull them and punch them. It's cool. I like it. Catsuit armor, sure, I guess you can now play a Catwoman. At least it's not a bikini. No, it's not a bikini. And you can definitely play Catwoman with this Artificer's subclass. And yep, Mistborn vibes again, pulling one of the powers in Mistborn. I won't spoil anything, so you don't have to run away, but affects gives you the ability to pull metals. And if you find that interesting, go read the book. I won't say anything else about it. The next one is the Infiltrator Perfected Armor feature, which whenever any creature that takes lightning damage from your lightning launcher glimmers with light until the start of your next turn. The glimmering creature sheds dim light in a 5-foot radius, and then a next attack roll against it by a creature other than you has advantage. If the attack hits, it deals an extra 1d6 lightning damage. That's very cool. And it's like a mini guiding bolt. The fact that you can also attack 2 different targets, marking them for your allies to attack, dealing that extra damage and giving advantage, which is very useful. Overall, very cool. Also, they glimmer in light, which means they won't be able to like go invisible or some other things, I think. Up to the DM to decide, but I'd say that if they try to go invisible, the light stays and, glimmers, so sucks to be them, right? Artificers have a lot to do with their reaction, maybe too much. Interesting take, maybe. The Guardian has this reaction we've seen here, and I don't remember any other reactions here. No, it all takes your actions. This is the first reaction I think we've seen around here. So here the chat corrects me that it doesn't say so in the ability, unlike in the Sickening Radiant spell regarding invisibility. Yeah, that's fair. So it doesn't say so, but I would probably add it because that's fun and it's a 15th level thing, and you still need to hit it first. So if it's already invisible, that's not going to be simple. But it should negate the disadvantage that invisibility gives somehow, and in a way that makes mechanical sense. So showing faint light where it is, does that, I believe. We have a new set of infusions for the Artificer to choose from, aside from the ones that they already have in the book. So, Armor of Magical Strength. While wearing this armor, a creature can use its Intelligence modifier in place of its Strength modifier when making Strength checks and Strength saving throws. The armor has 4 charges. As a reaction, when it would be knocked prone, the wearer can expend 1 charge to not be knocked prone. The armor regains 1d4 expended charges daily at dawn. Well, here we have another use for a reaction, which would be a problem with that one, but actually situational and different, and pretty much it's kind of fun. The ability to use strength checks with your intelligence really gives us these vibes of the power armor, that you actually have the power in a literal way. The fact that it has 4 charges, I guess it makes sense. Earlier I thought that it just, you know, you need to manage these charges and that feels odd. But yeah, you can not be knocked prone as a reaction. It does cause your reaction, but you prevent advantage from enemies. You know, I like that. It's good. It's also balanced. That's a good one. Armor of Tools. As an action, a creature wearing this infused armor can integrate it into it artisan's tools or thieves' tools. The tools remain integrated in the armor for 8 hours or until the wearer removes the tools as an action. The armor can have only one tool integrated at a time. The wearer can add its intelligence modifier to any ability checks it makes with the integrated tool. The wearer must have a hand free to use the tool. So if you put on the thieves' tools, you can add your proficiency, which I believe doubles at a certain level for artificers, specifically for tools, your dexterity modifier, and your intelligence modifier, because it's not instead, it's in addition to. It just makes your tool very powerful, which means you can probably break locks that even rogues cannot. Interesting. I need to think about this one a little further, a little more, and but it has potential and it's fun. Like you pull the tool out of the armor and start playing with a lock. For the other tools, I don't find it as useful, but maybe there's uses in Xanathar's guide for toolkits on the spot, which could make some of them cool to use, things other than thieves' tools. Helm of Awareness. While wearing this helmet, a creature has advantage on initiative rolls. In addition, the wearer can't be surprised provided it isn't incapacitated. That's just cool. Simply cool. Yep, that's a cool little magical item. Mind Sharpener. The infused item can send a jolt to the wearer to refocus their mind. While wearing this infused item, whenever the creature fails a Constitution saving throw to maintain concentration on a spell, it can use its reaction to succeed instead. That's a bit strong. Because most casters do not have a use for their reaction, unless of course we look at the Artificer, but if you give that item to a sorcerer or a wizard, unless they use shield or counter spell, or I don't know, absorb elements or some other thing, most of the time they would just rather keep their concentration if they fail, because, you know, who doesn't want to do that? And it does make sense to give that ability with a magical item, though. It is a slot that you... Does it require attunement? It does not require attunement. I'd say it should require attunement. If I were to fix that, I'd give it attunement, because otherwise it's a bit too powerful. Spell Refueling Ring. Here, just make sure that it is not. Okay. While wearing this ring, the creature can recover one expended spell slot as an action. The maximum level of the recovered slot is equal to the number of magic items the wearer is currently attuned to. Once used, the ring can't be used again until the next dawn. So the maximum number of attunement slots for most classes, for most anyone other than the Artificer, would be 3. So that's equivalent to the Pearl of Power for any other class. But for the Artificer, they actually gain more attunement slots as they level. At some point, they gain 4, 5, and finally 6 attunement slots. They don't have a 6th level spell. They only get up to 5. But returning a 5th level spell slot is huge. Even if it's on 17th level, it's pretty big. So I support this item very much. Now, this was the Artificer. Let's see what the chat has to say. You get smart tools. That you do. If you play an Artificer and have a rogue on your party, don't try to one-up them. Yep. I mean, as an Artificer, you can probably give the armor of tools to the rogue. There's nothing that says that you have to keep it to yourself. The fun part, one of the things that I really like about Artificer is that they can create magical items and just give it to the party. So you can create armor of tools for your rogue, and they would add their intelligence modifier in addition to what they already have, which is very cool. And spell slots are expensive. Not only expensive, I mean, they are expensive if you're a sorcerer, but for most classes, you cannot regain them until you finish a long rest. So, well, with the exception of a warlock, I suppose, but, you know, most of the casters do not gain them back. We have now the second subclass for today, the Druid, the Circle of the Stars. An ancient lineage, the Circle of Stars allow druids to draw on the power of starlight. These druids have tracked heavenly patterns since their time immemorial, discovering secrets hidden among the constellations. By revealing and understanding these secrets, the Circle of the Stars seeks to harness the power of the cosmos. Many druids of this circle keep detailed records of the stars and their effects on the world. Some groups document these observations at megalithic sites, which serve as enigmatic libraries of lore. These repositories might take the form of stone circles, pyramids, petroglyphs, and underground temples, any constructions durable enough to protect the circle's sacred knowledge, even against a great cataclysm. That's cool. I feel like until now, the field of studying the stars was solely something of diviners, wizards, trying to, see the future through the stars, but it could work for a druid. Like harnessing the energy of the cosmos to power your spells. Yeah, I like that. That's kind of cool. Look, my tea. Okay. The first ability, Star Map. You've created a star map as part of your study of the heavens. The map is a tiny object and can serve as a spellcasting focus for your druid spells. You decide what form the object takes, or you can determine what it is by rolling on the star map table. So some of the options these suggest are a scroll of a living wood that aligns with the heavenly bodies, a stone tablet with fine holes drilled through it, a speckled owlbear hide, tooled with raised marks. Cool. A collection of maps bound in an ebony cover, a crystal that projects starry patterns when placed before light. This one I like a lot. This one is really cool. And tempered glass disc that align to depict constellations. I'd pick personally number 5. It's kind of cool. I have a thing for crystals, Yeah. Who doesn't, right? Stars are part of nature. They are. Maybe something like Zertimon's Holy Donut. So, for those of you who haven't played Planescape Torment, there's the Unbroken Circle of Zertimon is an item which contains a lot of the lore that Zertimon left behind for the Gith race, for the Gith Zerite in specific. And in one of my campaigns, I brought this item to one of the monks. I even wrote a subclass for him using like a Zertimon monk, and every now and then I just give him the lore, the original lore from the game, which is a lot of fun. Anyway, yep, something like Zertimon's Holy Donut. I always figured that Zertimon's monks would be more psychic than druidic. More like monks with psychic abilities. kind of like Doctor Strange vibes, maybe. Let's see what this one has entailed for us. If you lose your map, you can perform a 1-hour ceremony to magically create a replacement. This ceremony can be performed during a short or long rest, and it destroys the previous map. You can cast the Augury and the Guiding Bolt spells without expending your spell slots and without preparing the spell, provided you use the star map as a spellcasting focus. You can cast a spell from the map in this way a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. Augury and Guiding Bolt are both wonderful spells that you really want to have in hand. That's just extra spell slots which you should use, because the Guiding Bolt is a wonderful spell. And Augury is just, who doesn't want to use Augury when they are about to make this particular choice? Do I take the left turn or do I take the right turn? What will happen? Augury is the answer. The Keen Mind Fate works well with this subclass, I think. Yeah, I feel so too. They'd be able to memorize all the different constellations and events and, the grand scheme of the universe. Interesting. Good call. So, Druids of the Circle gains the Starry Form. You gain the ability to harness Constellation's power to alter your form. As an action, you can expand the use of your Wild Shape feature to take on a starry form rather than transforming into a beast. While in your starry form, you retain your game statistics, but your body takes on a luminous star-like quality. Your joints glimmer like stars and glowing lines connect them as on a star chart. This form sheds bright light in a 10-foot radius and dim light for an additional 10 feet. The form lasts for 10 minutes or until you're incapacitated. Whenever you assume your starry form, choose which of the following constellations glimmer on your body. Your choice gives you certain benefits while in this form. You can choose to take the Chalice constellation of a life-giving goblet that appears on you. When you cast a spell using a spell slot that restores hit points to a creature, you or another creature within 30 feet of you can regain hit points equal to 1d8 plus half your level in this class. Yep, that's cool. Just, constant healing. And yeah, just whenever you on each turn, if you're going for the heal thing, an additional 1d8 plus half your level, every turn is not bad at all. Archer, a constellation of an archer appears on you. You gain a bonus action that you can use to make a ranged spell attack, hurling a luminous arrow that targets a creature you can see within 60 feet of you. On a hit, the attack deals radiant damage equal to 1d8 plus your wisdom modifier. That's something cool to do with a bonus action, which druids do not often get. I mean, if you're Circle of the Moon, you can shapeshift as a bonus action. Very few spells. I can't recall. I mean, druids in general do not have a good use for the bonus action. So, if you take this form, you can add a little extra damage on each of your turns. Yep, that's fair, that's cool. Or the Dragon Constellation. A constellation of a wise ancient dragons appears on you. When you make an intelligence or a wisdom check or a constitution saving throw to maintain concentration on a spell, you can treat a roll of 9 or lower on the d20 as a 10. Intelligence or wisdom check. And the wild shape lasts for 10 minutes or until you're incapacitated. So I'm trying to think of uses specifically for intelligence and wisdom that I know I'll need in the next 10 minutes. Like if it's a knowledge check, it's a bit odd. Wisdom checks, maybe perception or insight. Interesting. But Constitution saving throw to maintain concentration is definitely a strong option. Makes it easier. Overall, on second level, I feel like taking this form is not so strong, because you don't get the extra hit points that the beast shape usually provides, and the abilities are nice, but situational. I mean, it makes it more versatile, and the fact that you can restore hit points. Yeah, you know what? I take it back. The fact that you can restore hit points not only to yourself or to someone else means that if you're not tanking as a beast form, which you probably wouldn't because you're not Circle of the Moon, but you can still regain hit points when you heal. You can heal for for a better amount. You don't have to. You can heal multiple allies, maybe even on second level. Sure, why not? Cosmic Omen, 6th level feature. You learn to use your star map to divine the wheel of the cosmos. Whenever you finish a long rest, you can consult your star map for omens. When you do so, roll a d6. You gain one of the following possible omens based on whether you rolled an even number or an odd number on a d6. Wheel, which is the even. Whenever a creature you can see within 30 feet of you makes an attack roll, a saving throw, or an ability check, you can use your reaction to roll a d6 and add a number rolled to the total. Cool. Whoa. Whenever a creature you can see within 30 feet of you makes an attack roll, a saving throw, or an ability check, you can use your reaction to roll a d6 and subtract the number rolled from the total. You can use this reaction a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier, and you will gain all expensive uses when you're finishing a long rest. That's cool. You can either help your allies or harm your foes. This 6 can make a difference. You know, if someone just hits your ally or just misses an enemy, it's almost certain, you know, to make a difference. Generally a cool vibe, thematic as well, to the reading the cosmos. Reminds me of the Diviner's ability to play with other people roles. So yeah, that works well, I believe. We have more chat. Thank you, chat, for being so active. I'm really happy that someone here supports me on chat, that I don't feel like I'm talking to myself. That's something that if you ever stream, you have to get this over this notion that you're talking to yourself. But chat helps. Fairy Tale Lucy. Right. There was something. Yeah, she summoned these creatures, right, from the constellations, and each of them. Yeah, I remember it now. That was cool. Zodiac keys, definitely. So far, this druid sounds like a bard. You know, it kinda does. And the funny thing is, if this was an actual bard subclass, it would still work. Right? You can take the starry form and make it into, instead of a wild shape, like a form you can enter once per rest. And Cosmic Omen stays the exact same, casting these spells. So far, just the same, could be a bard as well. So, you know, that works. What I like here is that they gave the druid another use of reactions, which they don't often have, which is useful. You know, the basic Player's Handbook classes, some of them just don't have anything to do with bonus action or reactions. So yeah, you can take the Warcaster feat, but even then, they don't always get in the melee, so some classes just don't have a use for their reaction or bonus action, and I like it when the subclass adds something that you can do with it. So, and this is a wonderful, wonderful thing to add. That's what you have magic items for. Yeah, magic items for bonus actions or reactions. Yep, some of them give you the ability to, well, some of my homebrew as well, I try to add some things to it. But magic items can fix that, in fact, as well. But this is also a neat way to do it, and I enjoy it. I like to see reactions and bonus actions for classes that did not have them previously. 10th level ability is Full of Stars. While your starry form feature is active, you become partially incorporeal, giving you resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. Cool. Okay, this is a 10th level ability, which makes the starry form stronger. But this, the thing about it is most druids do not want to get into melee. There are some exceptions, but unless you're a Circle of the Moon, odds are you won't want to get too close. There are exceptions for Flame Blade builds and some other things. It's not super strong, but still good. It's still good to have resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. Even if you stay in range, sometimes the enemy will run to you and you want to gain this resistance. It kind of helps for the fact that you don't gain the extra hit points that the beast form grants. So, I mean, you don't get the extra hit points, but you kind of do get the extra hit points for the resistance that you now have. It's cool. It's okay. A bit weak for 10th level, I believe. Like, if I compare it to 10th level of the Moon Circle, which they can turn into an elemental, which is pretty sick. But it plays well with the earlier, it stays thematic, and kind of good. The last ability is called Star Flare. Your connection to the cosmos allows you to conjure brilliant starlight. As an action, you can conjure a burst of light in a 30-foot radius sphere centered on a point you can see within 120 feet of you. You can immediately teleport each willing creature in the sphere to an unoccupied space within 30 feet of it. Each creature remaining in the sphere must succeed on a Constitution saving throw against your spell DC, or take 4d8 radiant damage and be blinded until the end of your next turn. Once you have used this action, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest or until you expend the spell slot of 5th level or higher to use it again. This is a very strong ability. And it should be, because it's 14th level. You basically choose a point, save all your allies in a 30 feet radius, just, teleport them away, possibly saving them from attacks of opportunity or any other menace that's inside there, like AoE effects and whatnot. And then all the enemies that stay inside need to save or take damage, which is not tons of damage. 4d10 for 14th level is not loads of damage, but the major influence here is that they are blinded until the end of your next turn, which is huge. 30 feet radius is so much in most maps. You can, more often than not, at least in my campaigns, grab more than half of your opponents, if not all of them, within 30 feet radius. So you can influence all of them, save all your allies, and just reshape the battlefield. And you can do it again for a 5th level slot or higher. This is a very, very strong choice. But it should be, because it's the last druid ability. I don't feel it's overpowered. I feel it's just right. Um, because they make a save for it, and you probably wouldn't want to use it on each turn. It's still situationally great, very useful in most scenarios, and overall a wonderful ability that also is, just think about how it looks. It's just it's just amazing. I don't know, I like it. Okay, chat. Oh wow, I missed a bit. At least that's what I do. Seriously, full of stars. Look at the druid. Is so full of it. Druid have more cone spells, if I remember correctly. Useful for that. Sure, but then again, until your next turn, they would probably leave the cone. From maybe, probably, possibly. It's like a better scatter. It's not. Is it a better scatter? Um, I think the range on scatter is different. It allows you to play with the battlefield in a more wide arc, and scatter allows you to move your enemies, which this spell does not. So they are different. In some, I'd say, on some aspect it is stronger, but I can think of a few situations when you want to use scatter to put all the enemies in a specific location before a fireball, which is good. Ziggy, hello. Thank you. I will do my best. Okay, that was the druid. Very cool. Overall, still can be a bard. I love how this subclass can just be a bard and it still works. It's fun. Next one is the ranger. We have the Fey Wanderer. As a Fey Wanderer, you guard the border between the Feywild and the material plane, guiding the lost out of the Feywild and preventing dangerous Fey from damaging the material plane. Your experience with both domains makes you an exceptional negotiator between inhabitants of these worlds, as you understand both humanoid mindset and the wiles of the Fey courts. Fey Wanderers possess a preternatural, it's a new word for me, blessing from a Fey ally or a place of Fey power. Choose your blessing from the Feywild Gifts table or determine it randomly. I think just for the laws, determine it randomly because it should be random because that's Fey for you. Illusory butterflies flutter around you while you take a short or long rest. That's just cute. Fresh seasonal flowers sprout from your hair each dawn. You faintly smell of cinnamon, lavender, nutmeg, or another comforting herb or spice. Your shadow dances while no one is looking directly at it. That's amazing. Delicate horns or antlers sprout from your head. That's very Fey. Your skin and hair change colors to match the season at each dawn. That's just, it's these things that make me fall in love with a theme for a class. Just a disclaimer, I'm not a huge fan of this subclass, but the theme is just so much fun. And, I am a fan of the Feywild and anything in it. So, still works for me though. Fey Wanderer Magic. You learn an additional spell when you reach certain levels in this class, as shown in the Fey Wanderer spell table. The spell counts as a ranger spell for you, but it doesn't count against the number of ranger spells you know. You gain, at 3rd level, you gain the Charm Person spell, Misty Step on 5th level, Dispel Magic on 9th level, good choice, Banishment on 13th level, and Mislead on 17. So here's the deal. Rangers cast spells with their Wisdom modifier, but Rangers also want a high dexterity and high constitution because they are usually in the front or can be. So your wisdom won't be very high. So spells like banishment, or dispel magic, or charm person are not very likely to succeed. This is the same problem we encounter with a paladin. So it is an issue, and I don't like it when the game mechanics rely on these features to have high abilities, because this is a second or third ability at best. Third or second at best, but still not likely to be very high. And that's can make it less fun if it doesn't often work. The third level ability is Cunning Will. Your experience with the Fey has guarded your mind and sharpened your tongue. You have advantage on saving throws against being charmed or frightened. In addition, you gain proficiency in one of the following skills of your choice: Deception, Performance, or Persuasion. That's an overall good ability, third level, extra proficiency. Advantage on charm and frightened is very much something you want against Fey creatures. Would suck to have as a half-elf, which is a good choice for a Fey Wanderer. Like, if you already have this advantage from your race, would kind of be double on the advantage. Doesn't really give you anything, but it isn't a good ability otherwise. You do get another third level ability, which is Dreadful Strikes. You augment your attacks with mind-scarring magic, drawn from the gloomy hollows of the unsilly Fey. You gain a bonus action that you can use to imbue the weapon or weapons you're currently holding with magic. Until the end of your turn, the weapons are magical and they deal an extra 1d6 psychic damage on hit. A creature can take this extra damage only once per turn. When you engage in two-weapon fighting, you can imbue your weapons as part of the same bonus action you use to make the attack. Let's see what we have here. The ranger I have opinions about this, but first, this ranger just cannot be taken seriously. Imagine getting into an argument with a party member during rest while batting butterflies out of your way. Yeah, but then again, you can say the same about bards, any Fey sorcerer, like wild magic sorcerer, or basically anything to do with the Feywild. You just can't take it seriously, but you also kind of have to take it seriously because it might turn on you. So back to Dreadful Strikes. I don't like this ability. The reason I don't like this ability is twofold. First, you have to use your bonus action to imbue the weapons. It's only 1d6, which means if you have two weapons, you will always want to use your bonus action to make another attack, because your weapon would be more than 1d6, and if you use two-weapon fighting, you will deal more than 1d6 because you will also add your modifier. So it's only useful if you don't have anything to do with your bonus action, which as a ranger you almost always do have. The greatest benefit maybe here, is that the weapons become magical. So if they weren't magical, now they are. And psychic damage, while it can't, well, there's not many creatures that can reduce psychic damage. There's not many creatures that reduce magical, slashing, piercing, or bludgeoning damage. So basically, if you have two weapons and you happen to have a magical weapon, which is one of them, this ability is utterly useless. Probably good for third level, But by the time you get a magical item, and you will get a magical item at some point, probably, it just becomes pretty useless. Blessings of the Courts. 7th level Fey Wanderer feature. You have learned eerie techniques from both the Gloaming Court and the Summer Court of the Feywild. Once during each of your turns, when you hit a creature with a weapon attack, you can expand the spell slot to deal extra psychic damage. The extra damage is 3d6 psychic damage, and the creature must succeed on a wisdom saving throw against your spell save DC, or be frightened of you until the end of your next turn. In addition, whenever you make a charisma check, you gain a bonus to the check equal to your wisdom modifier. Okay, so basically a smite. You expand the spell slot to deal extra psychic damage and possibly cause a creature to be frightened of you, which is strong. Probably won't always work for the reason we spoke about earlier, because you probably won't have super high wisdom, which makes this ability a little less strong, but still very good, because charisma checks are many things. And you probably won't have high charisma as a ranger, but you can make up for it if you choose to boost your wisdom. So, with all these abilities, in this ranger specifically, I might push to boost my wisdom, because it adds many things. It's useful for my spells, it's useful for Dig's abilities, making people frightened, creatures frightened, and you boost your wisdom, you get a free boost to your charisma as well. Checks, though, still good. Yep, it's a fair ability. I would, though, probably make it scale, because make the damage scale with the spell slot you choose to burn on it. Maybe not sure. Something to think about. Beguiling Twist is the 11th level Fey Wanderer feature. You learn how to manipulate mind-altering magic, channel it from your allies towards others. When a creature you can see within 120 feet of you succeeds on a saving throw against being charmed or frightened, you can use your reaction to force a different creature you can see within 120 feet of you to succeed on a wisdom saving throw against your spell save DC, or suffer your choice of one of the following effects. The creature is charmed or frightened by you for 1 minute. The creature can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on itself on a successful save, or the creature takes 3d10 psychic damage. This ability is not limited, so you can use it whenever, but a creature within 120 feet of you has to succeed on a saving throw. Funny thing, it doesn't have to be an ally. So theoretically, you can use your Blessing of the Courts to do this attack, and if it succeeds on the saving throw, you can spend your reaction to deal the damage, or make them roll again. It's kind of funny and interesting. I like this ability because it makes sense for a ranger that goes about Fey. Everything there wants to charm or frighten you, so return the favor to them. Though most of them can be charmed, but they can be frightened and they can take psychic damage. So sucks to be them anyway. Again, another good reason to increase your wisdom, because that's another ability that uses. This is basically like a half caster, which is cool. I don't know. This is only on melee attacks when you hit the creature with a weapon attack. So here, I think I'm starting to think that with this ranger, what you might want to do is not go for melee, go for dexterity and wisdom and fight in range. And then Dreadful Strikes becomes legit. You have higher wisdom to work with. And this does not require a weapon. You can still use Blessing of the Courts. You can use everything else. None of these abilities is melee. You're good. That's strong. Good choice, I think. Maybe a good build for it. This is a druid. There is a druid, Circle of Dreams, that's around Fey. And it doesn't have the same, well, it has different abilities. Rangers are generally the druid fighters. Like the same way that paladins are the cleric fighters. So it makes sense that there are similarities and aspects of druids that go into rangers. That makes sense to me. He has Raw of the Druid, the lore of the Druid, and caster build like Druid, so Druid. But this one is a caster. Yeah, but still it hits hard. The ranger abilities, the regular ranger abilities are still strong. You still get Hunter's Mark. You still have extra attack. You still have other features that make you a strong fighter. And stronger than any druid. So yeah, half caster, but still very druidic in vibe, which is good. The last ability of the Fey Wanderer is the Misty Presence. You can magically remove yourself from one creature's perception. You gain a bonus action that you can use to force a creature you can see within 30 feet of you to make a wisdom saving throw against your spell save DC. On a failed save, the targets can't see or hear you for 24 hours. The target can repeat the saving throw at the end of any turn during which you hit it with an attack roll, force it to make a saving throw, or dealt damage to it. The effect ends early if you use this bonus action again. On a successful save, the target is immune to this feature for 7 days. Once you've used this bonus action, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest or until you expand a spell slot of 4th level or higher to use it again, which you don't get a lot of because you're a ranger. Bonus action, become invisible from a target, invisible, and they can see you and they can hear you, which grants you tremendous advantage. But then again, if you attack them, they have a chance of saving from it, and that's against your wisdom, which means they might succeed anyway. Still, cool ability. Situationally can be very useful in actually more useful in non-combat scenarios, in my opinion. But also in combat can be used to, let's say, someone comes close to it. This, I think, makes the point of being a range, fighting from range even more dominant here, that the option, because let's say an opponent approaches and I don't want him to approach because I want to fight in range, so he can't see me, he can't hear me, and I just walk away. That's a good option. It's a cool ability. Not the strongest 15th level ability I've seen out there, but also with the previous ability, which is kind of strong, makes up for it. Overall, this ranger, I think, could work. It needs some thinking, I think. It might need some tweaking in numbers, and some other option for 2-weapon fighters, maybe, if you want to, because I mean, it literally says it when you engage in 2-weapon fighting, you can imbue your weapons as part of the same bonus action to use them to make the attack. But you will almost never want to actually do that because another attack is better. So maybe something to make up for that. But overall, could be good. The extra spells are nice. The wisdom abilities are nice. The fact that you can protect yourself and influence others with psychic abilities and frightened condition is good. It's a unique view on the Ranger, which is I can't decide if I like it or not. Thematically, I love it, but something about it doesn't quite cut it. I think there's a lot of great ideas within, which can be polished to make a really, really cool subclass. Other than that, that's it for this Unearthed Arcana. Thank you for joining me in this stream. I love doing these little streams for you and reading them myself and thinking about all the possible options. I like homebrewing, and reading the Unearthed Arcana is a real inspiration for me. That's pretty much it for this stream, and we will get more the next. Well, I don't know when the next Unearthed Arcana will go out, but I will be there when it does. And in a couple of weeks, next Friday actually, is my last test for this semester, and which means I will be able to produce more tools of the trade, and I'm really looking forward to it. I want to make more quality content for you out there, and that's my way to do it. So if you like this stream and you want to support the channel, go onto YouTube, search for Beyond the Screen, jump by, watch some videos, share it with a friend. That's actually, if there's one thing I can ask of you, is share it with a friend if you think it's cool. And that's it. Until next time, friends, you are awesome. Keep being awesome. And I'll see you beyond the screen. Bye bye. Farewell. Exit screen.